Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Cal Coach and Program Director Melissa, and this week I'm honored to introduce to you all part 2 of U.S. Army veteran Andy Smith's story. Last week we heard about Andy's 2 tours in Iraq serving as a sniper. This week, listen to Andy discuss his journey to 1,000 plus days sober. Welcome to the Coaches Corner. So, you would go on and the using would go on for a number of years, Andy. Mm-hmm. Can you just kind of take us through a little bit of those years and what your life was like during that period of time? And really for the reason that, we want to highlight where you are now and the tremendous things you're doing, so take us back to those bad years. Oh, man. Well, before we do, first of all, I'm 1,006 days clean off of heroin, right? Heroin. Say that again. Clean off of
heroin and,
1,006
1,006 days and benzodiazepines.
Congratulations, Andy.
Dude, I think about,
Incredible.
where I was, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, talking about addiction, right? I just think about, anyway, we'll go into that. Go into that. Sorry, what was your question then again?
So, Andy, talk to us a little bit about those bad years.
Dude, they were tough. Dark, dude. And I'll tell you what, I am so blessed to have the friends that I have with me today, right? One of the guys that has stuck with me the whole time is the guy that actually told me about Catch a Lift, right? I'll get into him later, but how dark those days were. So I was still living in Colorado. I was getting all those prescriptions. I was getting 90, 80 milligrams a day. Right, or a month, 270 Percocet 30s along with the Xanax, and I'd be literally. So at this time, I got a divorce from my wife. We separated, so I was living at home alone in my house. I'd actually had a really nice front door with a window in it. I put a steel door up, right? Blackout fucking all sun, yep. And I just sit in my house and crush up Percocets and Xanax and snort them. It was gross. Literally, I just didn't want to feel anything.
Yeah.
I did not want to feel anything. And at that time, honestly, I really look at myself as how much I wanted to be a victim. If I can look back at those times and how I was really feeling, I was acting I don't know, like a victim. You know what I mean? To the point of dude, you had to deal with shit. I understand that. And you had to go through things and things happened that you didn't want to. It was I was quitting on myself, right? All these bad things happen so I can give up. I just sit here and fucking do pills and fucking drift away, right? And that's pretty much what I did from 2012 until 2014. Just continued to get my, prescription. Eventually, I had failed my doctor's prescription, because I was doing cocaine and other things like that, other drugs. And like I said, it was dark.
Yeah.
Got kicked off from that doctor. Ended up getting in the wrong group of people because I was still trying to get a high dose of medication, right? Now my prescription was cut off. I got another doctor who was lower, right? So I was really getting in the wrong group in Colorado, right? Kind of noticed that, and luckily I moved back home. So in end of 2014, moved back to Wisconsin, lived at my parents' house for about 6 months, which was actually a good transition. This was kind of a bright spot, if I can say, if I've had a couple bright spots between 2012 to 2022, or 2019, these would be it. One, when I just got home, my family was real happy to see me. My friends were supportive. I had a feeling of I was back home, right? You know what I mean? Your family,
You felt that. You felt
right.
Felt the feeling of being back
felt
home.
I was supposed to be somewhere.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Where for after those second tour, especially there was a feeling of I didn't know where to go, right? I got out of the Army, and I think the biggest thing that happened was I lost all those responsibilities, all those priorities, all those things that I was doing every day to be the best NCO I could, to be the best soldier I could, right? Completely went out the window. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. We're like, man, like you get out of the Army, you're going to fucking grow a beard, fucking grow your hair long. I'm not going to fucking work out. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to wake,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
completely rebel against.
I'm not going to wake up like.
Rebel against everything that it was. The discipline.
Dude. Yeah.
All of the discipline, the schedules, all of it, right?
Dude. And like all that stuff is so important. I mean, it's so important to have in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what you're dealing with or who you are. Like, I mean, I just know that as veterans, I think we have an especially, I don't know, hand up on people just because we know how to do that. Like we do. Like we know how to wake up and make our bed. We know how to, do simple things that relate, discipline-wise, go into bigger things, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times those little things that you continue to have to do every day, grow into bigger things.
Exactly. They build right on top of each other. It's building blocks.
And you're forced into doing that from day one. And when you're in the military, right? Like you don't really know why or whatever, but like it is important, right? And I totally got away from all that stuff where I was nowhere. Like I literally, like I said, in 2014, I finally moved back home. There's that feeling of like, I might be here, Yeah. I was still getting a prescription from a doctor at the time. Actually, it was for Percocet 30s, but it was real low. And 2014 is actually when I started using heroin. Because again, this doctor was, remember, this is 2014, 2015. Remember, at this time, like meds were kind of like, doctors were like, dude, people are dying. Right?
Yeah.
Like people, like we probably should not be handing out all this Xanax and shit, right?
Yeah, it was that time period. I know we talked about this a bit before, the VA that I go to, right? There was a huge scandal with that, the Candyman scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And that certainly was not an isolated incident. This kind of swept the country after that. And right, all of a sudden people are like, oh, perhaps all these meds are not the way we should be going.
I think it was that, like, I remember 22 veterans a day were dying, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a lot having to do with opiate and like benzodiazepine fucking overdoses.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I think about some of the times that I can't believe I didn't die. Like, dude, I remember one time like I did so much Xanax and so much Percocet that I literally woke up and like I couldn't feel half my body. You know what I mean? Like you're fucking like I honestly thought I had a fucking stroke. Like and like I don't know. Like here I am fucking boarded up in my fucking house using this shit, right? And all the time, like, the only thing that was hurting was, like, to the point of, like, I had lost all purpose, right? I had lost all responsibility. Again, like, I think about, I didn't even touch on, again, why, like, I kind of got out of the Army. Like I said, that first time that I came home and my wife actually called the police on me because she was scared I was going to hurt myself, right? Like, I look back at that incident and like I was kind of pissed at her, like to the point of like I had to spend 5 days at inpatient, right? Because they had to take your shoelaces, all that shit, right? I don't know, like I was pissed at that shit. Like I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through, and like, but I did, and like I also didn't want any help from anyone, and I don't know, it was a really dark spot, man, and like. I use that example like that. I brought that up because that was the first time I went into an inpatient program, right? I did, including detox at the Milwaukee VA, I did a total of 5 inpatient programs, right? So I did 2 in Colorado, and those were more or less forced on me to the point of like, it was classified as a suicide attempt, but I honestly, like it wasn't like I wanted to kill myself. It was more or less I was so worked up, I was so angry. And my wife at the time was just really scared. Right. You know what I mean? And she did. I remember, like, she did the right thing there, right? You couldn't tell me that at the time. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I was pissed. Fucking, yeah. And that's like very soon after that I was in W2. And then when I got out, I actually went into another inpatient program just because, like, I felt lost, right? Like, I didn't know what to do. And that was like a week long. And again, like I came out and I felt a little better, but I was still continuing to use. Like, I mean, I was still using all my prescriptions and also on top of it, drinking cocaine, things like that. And then Did another inpatient program in Denver. That was really good, except when you get out of it, right? You do this really good inpatient program, and it really works out for especially PTSD or any sort of mental issue that you're dealing with, right? It gives you that time to reflect and deal with that shit, right? But like the minute you get out of it, that's where real fucking life happens, right?
Yep.
And that's
you get pulled into that very fast.
dude. Actually that program at the Denver VA, I think was 45 days long, and I remember getting out and literally I was using in my car. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had gotten out and, like I had my little spot in my car, fucking crush everything up, right? Like, because that was my mindset. I'm like, dude, get out, get through this program, and then you can use.
Yeah.
Right? And luckily, like I said, where I'm at now, like, after all that shit, I moved back home, started using heroin here in Milwaukee, right? And I used heroin from 2014 until 2019 because I had gotten kicked off all my prescriptions at that time. I had become just tired to the point where it was just easier to get, right? It's very easy to get. It's insane how easy it is to get, like to the point of like you can just go downtown, start asking for shit, right? But I mean, the withdrawals, the dope sickness you would get off of this shit, dude, they're like, I mean, you want to talk about feeling vulnerable. I mean, you can't function without it, right? And I was a functioning addict. Like, and this is one thing is like why it took so long for me, I think, while I was using to like really hit the spot where like I was finally like, I need to fucking clean this shit up, right? Where like, I was functioning, man. And I think I was able to do that because of like the way we acted in the Army, right? We were able to go out and drink and then fucking go to work, right?
Yeah. It's this culturally inbred thing almost.
But it was, but like without your, boys, without your platoon, like it really becomes a problem then, right? Man, like I was a functioning addict. Like I was able to maintain a house, maintain a car, right? Like I was doing some side work at the time because all my money was going to drugs. I was spending about $120 to $150 a day on dope.
A day.
And that was just to feel fucking normal, like to get through your day, right? To hide the fact that you were using.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it was just horrible. It was horrible.
So what would finally be, or, if it was one thing or a series of things, Andy, what would finally kind of be that catalyst or that spark where you said, okay, this is enough, and, to really make that change in your life?
There was a couple things. One, I had a couple friends overdose, right? I mean, it's really hard. And one friend in particular was really close. Like it hit me hard because I had been with him. I had hung out with him about like 6 or 8 months before that. And like, we were talking about using, and like, I mean, he hated it just as much as I did. I remember we were hanging out. We were actually as I recall, I actually think I called him hoping he could get me something. Right. And like, we ended up hanging out, and we actually played catch, smoked a little pot, fucking hung out. And like, we ended up talking about how much we hated using, about what it was doing to our lives and shit. Like about like what it was doing. Right. And like, it was a really good conversation together. We didn't use, right. Like I said, we smoked a little bud together and that's it. But like, I remember leaving and like, man, like we feel the same. And like the next time I heard from him, he was dead. And like, and that was a big thing because like, dude, he didn't like using. It wasn't like he was doing it because he enjoyed it. He was doing it because it's such a shitty cycle, right?
Talk to us a little bit about that cycle, the cycle of addiction, Andy.
It's being dope sick, going to get shit, going to get money to get shit, and then getting the dope and then literally isolating until you use it all. And like, and then like, I think about the times I've been sick, like, dude, like how violently sick you get, right? Like there was times that I'd be driving and like, you just sit there waiting for a phone call until like you can go get fucking dope, right? And like I said, I remember times driving downtown, literally pulling open my door, throwing up. You know what I mean? Because like, you're fucking dope sick until you get dope in your fucking system. And I honestly, like, that was so scary. Like going through withdrawals was so fucking frightening to me. Right. And man, I tried so long to do it all on my own. Right. There's so many days. I think about easily the last 2 years I used. Every day I was going down. This is it. I'm going to go down. I'm going to get fucking 1 gram.
Yes.
I'm going to fucking make this.
Last one.
Yeah, dude, this is it.
Yeah.
Next morning you're there. Right. Next day you're there. Fucking, you might go a day and a half, 2 days. Right. But like, it was such an endless cycle of sickness, being broke, and having nobody. Honestly, like, I don't even feel like I had a life. Like, I mean, there was nothing there. I mean, it was just an emptiness, and like, yeah.
So, you know, you've hit the point now. You've seen a friend overdose, lose his life, but you're still in the cycle. In the last 2 years, it's every day. You know, this is going to be the last day. Mm-hmm. How did you get to the point where it would be the last day, Andy? I was
kind of pushed there a little bit, to the point. Man, this was actually a couple of years before I got to this point. But I had done another inpatient program at the VA, Milwaukee VA this time. It was really good, but I had gotten involved with someone in the program, right? Which is absolutely what number one you should never do, by the way. Like in programs, like, but like I met her. I don't know. She was in the Army. Like we understood each other, right?
These programs are also incredibly vulnerable. You're putting yourself in an incredibly vulnerable place.
Yeah. And we're like, you're just telling a lot of information, right? Like it's just, but those are what they're for, right? But that's why like you don't start a relationship with someone, right? And immediately we got out and same thing, started using cocaine way more. And also like, I don't know if that sped things up like financially for me, but like using together, like I spent way more money, and eventually like I had to get her, like I hated where I was at. Like I think she was really not a good person to the point of like, I can look back on that and I can honestly say she was just using me, right? She was just using me because like she knew like I could get drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that really tore me down, right? Having that and finally getting rid of her. But like, there was also just like, eventually like, man, I don't fucking want this. Like, I have so many people around me that care about me, that fucking want me to succeed, that fucking, I mean, don't want me as a drug addict, right? I think about my nieces and nephews and like my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. Like, they're important to me. My family's important to me.
Yeah.
Right? I remember, I'm so glad that I made this decision myself too. Like there was times like over that period where my family wanted to do interventions, right? They wanted to fucking talk to me. Right. They wanted to be like, dude, how can we help, right? Like, I really think like this took because it was like, dude, I'm tired of this, right?
It was you.
Yeah, dude, this was
100% you.
I'm so done with this. Like, dude, like, oh my God, I can't even explain like how shitty of a person you, and this is, I think about like, you have no responsibilities except for dope, right? You like, that's it. Like you have to have, oh my God, like it's hard to, like, it's embarrassing, like in a way to the point, like I think about it, like I'm so proud of where I'm at, right? Again, like these things that like have really helped me build confidence and like where I am and where I want to go. And it's because I did 2 combat tours, right? And it's because like I've been able to beat heroin, right? And I can honestly say that like today, dude, I'll never use again. Like even opiates, even opiates to the point of like if I have surgery or something like that, like, and I've had opportunities where like I've had dental work and other surgeries done since I've been clean. It's like, no, like fucking no. Like, cause I have a fucking problem with that, right? Now, thankfully, like I can look at those and like I've been able to grow off of it. And like, I think about my combat stress and like my addiction problems. And like, I've really been able to turn that into like a motivating factor for me where like I feel unstoppable to the point of like I can do anything. Right?
Talk to us about that, Andy.
Man, dude, it's getting your life back on track like that, like, and doing like, again, the gaining confidence part, right? And where I am gaining confidence, right? I think about all these, and I know a lot of combat vets can understand this, the highs and lows, man. Like, I mean, we deal with such extreme highs and lows, and like, that's why I think opiates and drinking is so well, because it just cuts them off or like peaks them, you know what I mean? But like, the confidence of, one, like accepting that you're an addict, right? Like, and growing from it. Like, I've accepted that I'm an addict, right? And like, that's a good thing when it comes to work, when it comes to the gym, when it comes to attention to detail, right? Like, there's a lot of good like attributes an addict can have, right? Same with a combat veteran, like dealing with those. I think about those things that made me a psycho. I'm thinking about when my wife called the cops on me and sent me an inpatient, right? Is using those totally wrong, right? But I think the way I'm using them now, starting my own LLC, right? Like doing work, right? Those are the things that, into the gym, dude, like the gym is so important, man. Like, to the point of like, you have somewhere to vent, right? You have somewhere to like just put this fucking adrenaline.
When would you start kind of working out in here? Like, when would the gym come into play for you?
The gym actually came into play even before I got clean.
Okay.
So again, I think about how luckily I got to meet you guys, right? So again, a friend of mine, he was actually a 168 sniper. So he was in our sister battalion. Fucking love him. Like, honestly, talk about a fucking homie. Dude, this dude, first of all, he's the one who told me about your program, right? I went down to his wedding. It was in 2018. And like, I remember him talking to me like, bro, man, like, I'm fucking worried about you.
Yeah.
Like not like mad. I think that's all he really said was, dude, I'm worried about you. And I think I even got mad at him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what I mean? There's fucking nothing wrong. I don't know, fucking.
Oh yeah.
Hiding all that shit. But dude, that motherfucker has stayed with me. Like I said, he introduced me to Catch a Lift, and I got into the Catch a Lift program April 2019, I think, and I got clean June 2019, right? So like, it was right there for me when I got out. It was so important to have, dude.
Wow.
And it was one of those things too. I was like on a waiting list.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I think I had filed like that 2018 December or you know, that earlier that year. And I finally got it. And like, you know, going to the gym and feeling sick is horrible. Like, I mean, when you're using, right? And like, I'll tell you, like, there was I was going to the gym because that was part of the thing back then. You had to go 3 days a week, right? And show your fucking shit. And
yeah, the attendance report.
Yeah.
And all. Oh, yeah.
And it was a good thing to have, man. It was
so all of a sudden you kind of had like this accountability piece.
Totally, right? A little, like, and then, yeah, dude, totally, right? Like, all of a sudden I have a little bit of accountability where, like, I don't want to be, man, I gave my word that I was going to do this. I'm going to do it, right? And, like, talk about feeling like a bitch, man. Like, to the point of, like, not being able to do anything, right? I mean, losing that confidence of, like, you're so vulnerable as an addict that, like, unless you have heroin or dope in your system, like, you can't physically fucking do anything. Like, I mean, you can't defend yourself. You're fucking throwing up. You're fucking... So I always snorted it. So a big thing that would happen with me is, like, when I would start, like, this is initially, like, you know, about... And I'd go through withdrawals, no kidding. So, like, if I did dope before I went to bed and woke up the next 8 hours later, I was starting withdrawals, right? So, like, I needed it no matter what, before I went to bed and when I woke up. Like, so right there, like, mentally it was just hard. It was so taxing, like, waking up, feeling like shit. On those days that you didn't have anything, knowing you were going to wake up and feel like that. And, like, my eyes and my nose would just fucking water. Like, it was just, and that was like the start of it, right? And then all of a sudden, like, your stomach starts to feel weak. Now nothing tastes good. Now you can't drink anything. Before you know it, you're fucking throwing up. And God forbid if you're away from, like, your dope dealer or away from anything that you can get help with, right? Because you're just going to have to fucking kick it. And like, that's where I saw my future going. Like, I was either going to end up in jail and I was going to have to kick dope there, which I was not, not looking forward to, or I can go and get help. And that's what I was able to go do. And I was actually able to walk into the Milwaukee VA, right? And I didn't want to go there because, like I said, I had done inpatient programs at the VA, right? And I was set on getting off of dope. I was calling around, like, hey, do you take Medicare? Stuff like that. Do you take TRICARE? Nope. And a lot of places, man, were like, call next month.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Oh,
like,
man.
fuck, man, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
like, either I'm going to fucking.
Now.
Yeah, so, like, I give Milwaukee VA total credit, man. I was able to walk in there. So the day before, I called my dad and my neighbor over to my house. And I was like, dude, like, and they, like, my dad knew something was going on. Like, he knew about pills and he knew about, like, my cocaine use and drinking. Same with my neighbor. Like, he knew I drank and he knew I got, like, fucked up. And, like, he's like, he wasn't sure, like, if it was heroin. Because, again, like, I would always snort it. So I didn't have any track marks or anything like that. But, like, I remember calling those two dudes over, my dad and my neighbor, and, like, I got a heroin problem and I need to go get this fucking taken care of. And at the time, I was 3 months behind my mortgage. Wasn't making car payment. You know what I mean? Like, shit was, I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later. Like,
right.
Where shit was just going to like end, right? And badly. So unless I did something, and luckily, that night I spent the night at my parents' house. And I remember I had a little bit of, like, just the last line. I remember, like, just to get there, just to get into fucking recovery. Literally that next morning at 7 a.m., I woke up with my dad took me to the VA. I went into the emergency room. Was like, dude, I got a problem with heroin. I need to get off. And literally they got me into detox that day. And that was the 9th of July, or June, 9th of June, 2019.
Wow.
July. And it's, dude, it's been terrific ever since, right? Like, so I got in there the 9th of July, and then I did detox there for 5 days. And part of their thing was, like, they want you to go over to the domiciliary where they do the inpatient program for another 30 days. And, like, I decided not to do that just because I knew I was prepared for what I needed to do, right? I had done those shit, like those inpatient programs.
Right. Yep.
I was ready to fucking get my life back on track. Yeah. And literally, it feels so good that, like, I haven't looked back since then. Right? Like, it really is a good feeling to the point of, like, and again, that building confidence part, right? Like, dude, man, like, and I remember, like, hating myself for, like, not hating myself, but never giving myself like credit for what I did in Iraq. Right? Never giving myself credit for, like, you know, like, being able to get through the things that I did, right? Yeah. And it's not, like, I don't know, like, you just have a realization, like, especially I did. At least I had a realization, like, after I got clean, like, how blessed I am to be alive, right? Like, how happy I am to be here, right? And that was, oh, man, I just think about the mindset change there, where, like, I used to wake up and be like, fuck, I'm alive. Now it's like, fuck yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Right? It's so different.
That shift in that mindset and perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I have no words for that. So 1,006 days.
1,006 today. Dude.
Today.
And honestly, here's what also, like, confidence, dude, no one can take that shit from me. Bro.
No.
And I thank God.
That's all you.
Dude, it is. And, like, I've had support. Dude, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had people support me. I honestly, I think about.
But that's been you every day saying yes to your sobriety.
Oh, dude, totally.
You know? And
doing those things that I know I need to do every day in order to continue it, right? And there's a lot of those things that I do on a daily basis, to the point of, like, eating healthy, you know what I mean? Drinking enough water. Dude, those are dumb things, but, like, I can't believe how much drinking water has helped me just in general feel, right? Staying away from too much caffeine. I'm not saying, like, cut that shit out, but, like, it's a balance, man.
Right.
It's a balance in everything, and that's one thing I think veterans especially have a problem with balance, because we love that fucking up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a fucking all or fucking nothing, you know? And The minute you can settle that down and find a balance between doing things militant and doing things civilian.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate even doing things civilian because like I'm so far away from that. But like you have to respect about where you're at and understand like the group of people you're talking to, and like and also like I really want to be a good representative of what a veteran is, right? That's another thing too, is like again, something I'm really proud of is like, man, like, and I think about the group of dudes that I'm around, like my veteran group of dudes, right? Whether it's a softball team that I'm excited to be a part of, whether it's a veteran group that like we're group text with, right?
Yeah.
Or it's JB fucking talking to us in a group text,
Yep.
right? Dude, I want to represent people like that veteran group, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Things that I'm associated with. Like when I talk about the Milwaukee VA, I want them to know that, dude, the Milwaukee VA helped me out, man. Right?
For sure. Definitely.
Like, dude, like, and I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's another thing I think, again, like the VA, again, I talked to a lot of Vietnam veterans about the difficulties, right, with the VA, right? And we've even had it, like, to the point of, like, we talked about the turnover with your counseling, right?
Yep.
The immediately handing out of pills,
Yeah.
right? Well, the VA, I feel like, has learned from that too, and I do feel like, especially over the last few years, like, and again, this might be the sobriety part of it, but from 2019, like, I don't know, like, it's been nice that that same group of doctors that I had while I was at detox are still there, and they're still working with me.
Yeah, that's tremendous. That's
Dude,
tremendous. Yeah.
my substance abuse counselor, I seriously almost fist fought my first day at detox. No bullshit. Like, dude, it was my first day at detox, and like one of the reasons I really wanted to do detox was I needed help with withdrawals, right? So like whether it's Suboxone or whether it's another type of medication, like I'm like, dude, I needed help with that, right? Well, with Suboxone, you need to go through withdrawals first before they start giving it to you, right? Well, I didn't know that, or I really didn't. Well, here's the way I understood it was like if I started going through withdrawals at 6 p.m., I can have that Suboxone by 6 p.m. next day, right? It doesn't really work like that to the point of like the doctor's not there at 6 p.m. He'll be there at 9 in the morning the next day, right? When you're going through withdrawals, man, those fucking 8 hours are long, right?
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, so
can't
like
even imagine.
he wasn't there that first day. I wake up the second day and no bullshit, like I was ready to fucking leave. Like I was ready to leave fucking detox because I couldn't stand withdrawals. Like that was my mindset, was like once you started hurting like that, fucking go find something to ease it.
Right.
You know, like
Yep.
go find fucking something to ease this pain, especially like when I knew what would work, right? Eventually he comes in and he apologizes, but I'm fucking livid to the point of like, man, you don't know fucking shit what I'm going through. I'm fucking pissed off. You're not helping me, blah, blah.
Right, right.
And like, luckily, man, like I got to talk to him, it was end of last month, right? About where I'm at and literally like the fact that we get to talk about like, it's nice that like he knows exactly what I've been through.
Yeah.
Right? That I'm able to go to my doctor, my therapist, and same with my therapist. She's been with me since I've gotten out of detox too. So I started seeing her when I was like 10 days clean, right? Like, it's pretty cool when I was talking to her about, you know, when I was at 1,000 days. So I actually saw her on 1,000 days too. It was last Tuesday.
That's incredible.
Dude, it was. It really was. But she was able to remind me what I'd been through, right? What I had gotten overcome. I'll tell you, like, she remembers especially those first 3 to 4 months that I was clean. And I was coming in every week to talk to her. I was also doing outpatient drug counseling and things like that, which were great. Honestly, the VA really does work as long as you got to be your own advocate. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit of your own advocate. But like the minute, dude, she got to like remind me of like, dude, when you first came in, like I felt so much, like there was so much of a new feeling, right? All these emotions that I had fucking numbed for 10 years were fucking coming up, right?
Yeah.
Now, like, now they're there, right? Now I'm feeling everything for the first time, which was really weird feeling for the first time.
I'm sure it was, right.
It really was. And it was really hard to control those ups and downs. And again, I would be talking to her about combat, right? Yeah. Like, and I would get those adrenaline, like I call them adrenaline dumps, where I get so worked up, right? I'm so excited. I'm so fucking like, like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like you're fucking, that like I would literally physically get sick, right? Like immediately, like after that, like whether, I mean, you're just thinking about it or like we're talking about it, like I get myself so worked up that like physically get sick. Right. And it was just because like I didn't know how to control my emotions, and I was feeling all this stuff for the first time. Right. So it's just so awesome that I have the same doctors that can remind me of that stuff.
Yeah, that's
because that was a frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Especially early on in the VA, man. Like I must have had at least 12 therapists minimum. And it's like, dude, I'm sick of telling you the same fucking thing so you can get to know me and then fucking leave.
A couple months later, gone.
Dude, right. And like I understand that, but like I do want like the VA to really understand how important that is to have a doctors stick around.
Yes.
Like, dude. And so like I mean, that's been such a big part, man. Like is having that. Like
yeah. That's incredible. Andy, so we both know substance abuse is a huge problem, extremely prevalent in our veteran community.
Yeah.
What would you say to anybody listening, that is struggling with substance and, either they haven't even got to the point yet of thinking like today's the last day, or maybe they've been in that perpetual loop for a while. This is it.
First of all, like, if you're thinking you have a problem, you probably do, right? That's the first thing of accepting that, hey, maybe I do need help, or maybe I do need to change my lifestyle. And also, don't let it get to a point where someone's going to tell you to get your life together. It is so much more. I mean, I can't tell you how much more it means to me that like I was the one who's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I need to I even think about those inpatient programs before that. A lot of those times, like I was probably doing it for like either a girl, right? I was trying to, you know what I mean? I was trying to make a relationship work.
Right.
I was trying to satisfy my parents, right? I was trying to make someone else happy, right? No, man, like you got to do it for yourself, man. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, man, go get help. I mean, just start talking. I even called the Veteran Crisis Line. I must have called them, man, tons of times, dude. Tons of times, right? And like being able to talk to those people. And those dudes are just volunteers, man. Like those guys are not getting fucking paid. And like so many times I've called them and yelled and like I'm so and dude, they end up writing me notes or something, like thanking me, like making sure that I'm okay, right?
That's incredible.
It is, man.
Wow.
Like but like again, like what I would tell an addict is use your benefits to the point of like we do have the VA does have a lot of good programs. You just got to use them.
Yep.
Right.
This
and like
true.
It's tough. Like it's tough to be your own advocate at the VA, but it's something that helps out so much more. Like when you're actually like make your appointments, right? Make your appointments, fucking, and also utilize what they have. They got a lot of helpful things there. You just got to ask for them, right? They're not like, and it is tough. Like, I mean, you might get pushed around, you might get transferred, but man, like, is it worth it getting clean? Like, it's so worth it getting off of that shit, man. Like, yeah.
So
I don't know if that really answered what I would say, but like, man, you know what? I mean, dude, life is so much better clean, man. Like, honestly, if someone asked me like, hey, like, I'm thinking about maybe going in to get help. I'm like, are you fucking tired of your life? Right? Like, I think about like how I just didn't even have a fucking soul. Right? And like the difference in how I look at things, like how thankful I am to be alive. And again, like, yeah. Sorry, I was getting away from things. Yeah.
No. Thank you for sharing that with us, Andy. Again, man, hitting back to that 1,006 days sober, absolutely incredible. So, I want to talk to you a little bit, about your goals moving forward. Anything, you're kind of, willing to share with us. What are you looking forward to coming up, or where do you kind of go from here, Andy?
Well, one thing I'm really excited about is continue to work. So another goal, and this is actually coming up. So on April 29th, will be 2 years in business. Right? So I started my own landscape company. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. It's called Military Grade Yard Service.
I like it. Military Grade Yard Service.
Dude,
I like it.
And again, like getting back to like, I call them my core foundations, right? Like those values you learn in the Army, right? LDR-ship, leadership, respect, duty, self-service, honor, integrity, and personal courage, man. Like, they are, man. Like, they're just getting back to those. And like, I like having that military mindset to the point of like, and I can see myself getting to do that a lot in landscaping to the point of like, you know, I got to prepare myself for the next day if I'm going to go out and dig stumps, right? Like digging out stumps or digging a hole, planting a tree. Can't be tired or dehydrated for that shit.
For real,
right?
yeah.
Like I made a commitment to someone to go plant a tree or dig out stumps or cut their grass or whatever, man. I'm going to go do it. And like, I'll tell you what, like, again, back to that military mindset, man, I feel like we can outwork anyone. I mean, seriously, one goal I will share with you is I want to be the best landscaper in the world. Dude, I will be the best, and I will be.
Yeah.
I think about where I'm at and where I want to go, but like, just because I know I can be, right? Because of what I've been through. I think about like that training those NCOs gave me, right? Those talking tos, those sergeant majors gave me to when I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like those things are things that like I used to look back on as like fumbles, as like things that like knocked me down, but really they were building blocks, right? And building blocks of like where I'm going and what I want to do. And I can't wait till I'm 2,000 days clean, right?
Oh my gosh, for real, right? Yes.
Dude, I'm very excited about that. I mean, I am, and I think about 1,000 days, 1,006, and like how quick it's gone, right? But also what's awesome about that time is like, I can look at what I've gone through in that time and how much stronger and how much I've really built myself up and how much confidence I've gained in myself over those 1,006 days.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude,
sure.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah. And again, over those thousands, not only just the confidence, but like the people I've surrounded myself with, right? Again, I talk about those core values that I learned in the Army. Also, faith has been a huge part of it too, right? Having God as that focal point, right?
Yeah.
In your day.
Yep.
Right? And I like, if you don't have faith in God, again, with sobriety, you got to have a higher power, right? That's one of the things, right? I didn't really go through like that 12-step thing like that. Again, I think faith was a bigger part, but the idea is that you got to be humble, right?
Yes.
Like there's a different focal point on you. And my faith over these last 106 days has grown immensely. And it was in my view, right? Like I didn't have this got clean, found God.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't me. Like I was looking back at this, it was 61 days clean. Before I really started putting my faith in God. And I remember there was a moment of clarity to the point when I got out of detox, one of the things, like I said, I went there for heroin and benzodiazepines, right? Opiates. Especially in Wisconsin, man, like drinking was kind of like, dude, get off all fucking heroin so you can fucking drink, right?
Yeah.
That kind of hop back in right away, like after detox, just because of, I don't know, again, like I didn't want to use heroin, right? Like, and I remember drinking a couple of times, and I remember it was, like I said, it was 60 days clean. I went home, it was after work, had a Kessler and Coke, right, just to relax. And then before I knew it, like I was drinking so much, right? Like that, like, I don't know. I think about that time and like, man, like it's embarrassing to the point of like how like you just want to change, man. Like you really want to change, right? And I remember at that point, I actually drank too much, had too much Kesslers, texted an ex-girlfriend who never fucking texted back, right? But like I remember reading the text message the next day and like it was such a whiny fucking bitchy text message. And I'm like, who the fuck is this person, man? Like, what the fuck? And like at that point, like I really started wanting to live a healthier lifestyle, right? Just an all around healthier lifestyle. And it all started by putting God in my life, right? My neighbors had given me a daily devotion book that I'm so happy. They actually just gave me a brand new one, right? And dude, like it's really cool is that daily devotion I started on day 61. And like now I'm looking at it, I'm at 1,005, 1,000, you know what I'm saying? And I can go back.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, I've read through this book 3 times and literally how my faith has grown over those 3 times reading this book, right? And like, and now especially clean, like I feel like I see God's divine intervention way more. Yeah. Way more. I mean, even coming up here to do this podcast, this is something that's not easy for me to do, or it's not something that I'm not on any social media, right? I think that's a good thing for me, especially with those highs and lows,
right.
especially important when I was on Xanax, not being on social media. I probably would have typed some shit that I didn't mean, right? Some some weird shit, like, and that happened to me a couple times, like just using like alcohol, right? But like being off of that shit, like, I forgot where I was going with that.
No,
but
good. No. Thank you for sharing that with us, Andy.
Yeah, like I said, it's just there's so many good things that have happened to me clean. Yeah. So many, dude. Like that. I don't know. Yeah.
So I wanna switch gears here a minute, and I want to talk about Coach Jeff Brown with the Catch a Lift Fund,
dude. Yeah.
Because you've had you've had the opportunity to go through a wellness program, a wellness group with Catch a Lift, and you worked with Coach Jeff Brown for the 8 weeks. I know you just finished up here recently. Talk to us about that experience of the 8-week program and that in the wellness program and your time working with Coach Jeff.
The wellness program I really enjoyed. First of all, like it got you refocused back on goal setting. You know, again with sobriety, like goal setting has been such a good thing. And when I don't know. Like that was a big thing about that wellness program was the goal setting. I really like that about it. And also Coach Jeff Brown, man, that guy is so motivated. Like honestly, it's a good thing and like it's an addictive thing, right? Like dude, man, it's so awesome like being around that, right? And there were so many days and it even went into this last week where like, man, I don't know what to do. Like I shouldn't go to the gym, or maybe I should. You know what? Jeff would. So I'll fucking go. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and like he I don't know, man. Like it's difficult to do that stuff. Like I can really put myself in that situation of like, man, I would love to be a Cal coach, right? That's something that I would love to see for my future. But right now, like just because of what I have going on in my life and these certain goals, right, where I want to go, like there's. I don't know. All you coaches need to be recognized for what you guys do, right? And like, I just really have taken. I mean, I don't know. Very motivated by Jeff, and I can't thank him enough for what he does. I mean, for real.
Oh, absolutely. Jeff's a tremendous Catch a Lift veteran coach, an athlete himself, and all of we're so very lucky, you know, with the coaches we have on the Catch a Lift team. You know, they've all gone through the program. You know, they know it works if you work, you know, and they've all had we've all had our different, unique challenges, but
dude,
they show up for our vets every day in a tremendous day. So we cannot thank enough our tremendous Catch a Lift veteran coaches. Dude, they're just tremendous. This
whole program, and like I said, like I really can relate to, like I said, when I heard about Catch a Lift, like I was still using, right? I could relate immediately to Chris's story about why you guys have the name Catch a Lift, right? Because that's what we did in Iraq. When you guys had when we had a bad phone call home, we had a tough mission, you had nothing else to deal with, man, you went to the gym. Yeah. You went to the gym, and that was it. Maybe to Haji Mart, get some new DVDs, right?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Something like that. But like, I mean, it was the gym, man. Like, it fucking saved us. Like, the gym kept you mental, like, kept you sane over there, and like, that's why, like, immediately, like, man, I'm very proud to be a part of this organization, first of all. And so thankful that Chris's sister continued to remember him, you know, because, I mean, guys like him gave the ultimate sacrifice. That's another thing, too, is, like, I think about how I was as a veteran and how fucking selfish I was when I was using, right? I was selfish. I mean, like, I want people to remember those soldiers that gave everything when they, I mean, not look at me, but like, see how I'm living my life, right? Like, I want to like honor those guys that gave everything by the way I'm living my life, right? For so long, I just did nothing. Like, literally just was selfish, used, didn't care about anyone else as long as I could get something out of it. It was just, man, like, you're not honoring those guys who gave everything, who gave the reason I'm still here, man. To realize that, I'm so thankful that I'm actually able to realize that so I can make a change, right? So I can, man, and that even talking about on these podcasts, again, like things like that, these are good things, man. There's so many times, especially over these last 2 weeks, especially, I've heard this 3 times from people where I tell them my story. I like telling them about how much help I got at the Milwaukee VA. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm, 1,006 days clean. They're like, fucking never hear that.
Yeah.
Dude, a guy that I never hear that, especially coming out of the VA.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of turnover, which is tough. It's tough to see. And I think you see it everywhere now. I think about the overdoses numbers in Milwaukee, right? I mean, they're crazy.
It's very bad. Yes, it's very bad.
And I look back at that now and, like, I think about what that dope's really made out of, man. Like, because I even say, like, I stopped using almost 3 years ago. And at that time, especially that last year I was using, I mean, I remember when I started using heroin, it was a bag that actually looked a little yellowish and it was powder, right? And then towards the end, man, this stuff is like white with like a hint of pink. Like it was like cut like, and because like I snorted, I could taste it like very differently. But like, it was just crazy, man. Like, so like, I'm so happy that like, I honestly, I walked through the VA, a dope addict, on July 9th, 2019, and like today, I'm fucking 106 days clean, right? And that was the VA was, again, one of those tools that was very necessary for me to fucking get clean.
Yes.
And for the longest time, I think I gave way too much credit to VA or other things, right? Where like now, like I look at that 1,000 days, I'm like, dude, that was fucking me.
That was you.
That was fucking me. Like there was so many days that, man, like you just, I'm just glad I'm here. Where like I've gotten to rebuild off of it, right? So, yeah.
I mean, it's just, wow, there's no words for it, Andy, right? I mean, we are all, speaking on behalf of myself and the entire staff at Catch a Lift, we are all so incredibly proud of you and happy for you, and we're so excited to continue to watch your journey going forward.
Dude, thank you.
Truly,
and
though,
you know
all
what?
of us.
And that's something I'm really excited about is my journey forward, right?
Yes.
Which, by the way, is this Wisconsin state motto, by the way. It's forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, how, like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like there's certain signs that I feel like are divine intervention. God's trying to tell me, like, right? Keep moving forward. You're from Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. It's your state motto.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, moving forward, like, man, like, I don't know. I'm very excited about moving forward, like, and setting goals personally, spiritually, and financially, business and financially, like, are usually in the same category for me, goal setting. Yep. But like using those 3 categories as goal setting and like continue to focus on what I need to do. Continue to keep a clear mind, right? Stop. And honestly, a good prayer. And I talked to a friend of mine, and it's a scary prayer to say, but ask God to break you, right? God, break me, right? God, dude. Man, those, like, when God puts those things in our life, he wants us to get stronger.
Yeah.
Man, he doesn't, like, I think about how much of a victim I used to fucking feel like, right? And, like, at those times, I didn't have God in my life. I don't think God was ever gone, right? And again, I never had that big aha moment to the point of, like, I found religion, I found sobriety. It was later on where I found God, and he was sitting there with open arms, and he's like, all right, you ready to do this?
Yep.
You ready to fucking do some real shit, man, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm here with you and we can do anything. And that's really a cool feeling when, like, he's literally there and you know he's been there, but like, and again, that's his faith where you're like, all right, I'm going to trust him, right? Let's see what happens here, right? And it doesn't, I mean, in my, I didn't have it happen overnight. It was continually keep God as my focus, right? Every time I was going through a problem,
Yep.
I just say Jesus' name, say a small prayer to God, help me deal with this. Such a big mind change when I'm looking at a problem and I'm looking at it from a positive end instead of like, fuck this, God did this to me because he fucking wants to hurt me. This is happening because of this, and this, instead of being like, all right, let's take care of it. All right. God's trying to make me a better person right now. Right. Let's do this. Right. Like, and that's again, the confidence level of understanding where those things are coming from. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's an absolutely beautiful mindset you have now with that. And it's a beautiful testament.
Thank you.
That it truly is. Thank you for sharing that part of your life with
Yeah,
us. Truly,
thank you.
Andy. Oh my gosh. I mean, we could talk about this forever because it's absolutely incredible.
We could.
Absolutely incredible.
And honestly, I'll have to check back in with you when I'm around 1,500 maybe. 1,500 days clean.
You can count on it. We'll book that out for sure.
1,500, then 2,000.
Yeah, no, I like that. Today, though, Andy, I do have one last question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, this is my favorite question that I like to close out shows with our veteran athletes. Andy, what does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift Fund veteran athlete?
Oh, man. It means so much. Like, first of all, it means a lot to me to be a part of a group that are like-minded. Everyone here wants to get better, right? And everyone in this program has issues. Everyone has their own shit they're dealing with, right? This is, man, like, everyone's got their story, right? Everyone has so many problems they have to deal with. So the minute you gain confidence and you can help other people with those problems, like, the better you become, the better they become, right? So, like, the fact that I feel like there's so much positivity that comes out of this program is such a special thing to be a part of. I mean, and I think about the way, like, it came into my life, like, through a terrific friend. It was there for me when I needed it. Right? Getting off of heroin, I needed a spot to just fucking go to the gym and feel better, right? It was there. After COVID, right? After going through that really strong, long period of not the gym, right? I was working out at home. I was doing some things, whatever. All of a sudden, I was actually getting in touch with Kaylee. She's like, yeah, actually, fucking join now. You know what I mean? For the end of the year. And like, it's just, again, God's divine intervention. Those are all things I can look at and look at it as God's divine intervention. Yeah. The bottom line. I mean, I don't feel like anything just happens for the universe. I think these are things we all attract or, push away, right? So again, yeah. So I'm so glad to be a part of this, and I can't thank, Lynn and Kaylee enough. I mean, you and David, and I mean, everyone, man, like, it's crazy that, like, I think about this, like, dealing what I've dealt with over this period of time, like, this is the first program that gives out such, amazing results. I mean, it's activity, man. It's waking your body back up. You know what I mean? It's literally getting out of that fucking victim mentality. It's building muscle. It's building your mind. It's such a blessing to be a part of this, and I want to continue to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it. So,
oh my gosh, absolutely, Andy.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, wow, incredible story. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story and your light with us all. Truly, thank you for your openness, your vulnerability, and I know it's going to be incredibly impactful to our audience. It's been incredibly impactful to me to hear your story and reflect on it and get to know you more.
Dude,
so thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I can't appreciate it enough. And I'm just so thankful for being here. And like, thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to next time.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. That's it for this week's episode of the Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another new episode. Thank you again, Andy, for coming, sharing your story and your light with us all. It was absolutely tremendous.
It was awesome being here. It was a great experience. I mean, it was so fun coming up here. I had a blast, honestly, and plus I got to talk about myself for 2 hours. So it was perfect. It was perfect.
It was a good day.
It was great.
We thank all of our listeners today. A huge thank you to ID Technologies for your support of all things Catch a Lift, and especially the Coach's Corner podcast. Huge thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Henry Pomper, and Kaylee Nassiri for all of the work you do to make this podcast possible week after week. And we thank the entire Catch a Lift team. Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time for a chance to chat with your brothers and sisters on YouTube and win Cal swag. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.